Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Little Give. Today, we have a very interesting guest who's also a podcaster. Go ahead, introduce yourself. Tell us where you're from. Tell us what you're all about.
Ben from Chasing the Whimsy in Arizona. Recent podcaster. We're getting ready to celebrate our second year anniversary coming up in July. It was an idea that my son came up with 2 years ago on his birthday. This idea that we should record ourselves and have conversations. 13, he's very asking lots of questions about who I was when I was a teenager, family stories, and he wants to just real interested in what how I was raised, and just wants to know a lot about the family. So I was like, let's just do a podcast. And a month or two right after, we got some equipment, started, plugged everything in and started recording, and we haven't stopped.
That's so awesome. I've tried to get my 14-year-old daughter to come on this show or my podcast or anything, and she does not want anything to do with it at all. So that's got to be really cool to be able to experience that with your son. What has been one of the favorite parts of what you're doing so far?
We are doing, so he's 15 now, high school. He's in high school wrestling. So he's dedicating a lot of time to wrestling and improving, going to nationals. So he's very busy, and this idea of creating this podcast together and inviting all of our family in. I've had my sisters, my mom and grandma on, some cousins. So while he's off doing the teenager thing, because no one wants to hang out with their dad when they're 15, I just keep the show going. I gotta keep the seat warm for him. So he comes on periodically, like every other week or so. He likes to come back, and we just really enjoy just catching up. What have we been up to since the last time we've talked? We have a lot of just real fun, just conversations. Some of the things that we like doing is talking to the family. We had this weird, very interesting conversation early on where we were talking about my grandmother, and we refer his grandmother is other grandma, and we were talking about her, and I realized, I'm like, hey, her birthday's coming up and she's going to be 80. And I was like, I'm 40. And then we had this realization of grandmother was a whole other person before she was a grandma. And it was just like those little moments where I'm like, I need to know more about grandma before she was grandma. And it's just this amazing journey of just getting to know just the different things about her family that we don't always know or even ask about. And as we continue this journey, it just, what else can we learn? What else can we understand about each other? And what other kind of fun can we have? We did a Christmas episode last year, 24. We had 16 people at Mom's. We had 6 microphones. We had 14 people recording. My 5-year-old daughter's in the back running around having a great time. And it's this idea of the podcast allows us to just gather and create these amazing memories. And now they're recorded so that, we can always go back. My daughter can go back and listen to them when she gets older, so she can reminisce about them. I can go back and reminisce about them. But then it also allows mom and grandma those opportunities to get the whole family together, and they just sit back and they just smile, just looking at everybody, just doing their own thing and just having just a really great time.
That's awesome. So some of the subjects y'all cover are really about the past, right? You have your grandmother tell stories of whenever prior to being a grandma. And then, so tell us a bit more about those conversations and how they kind of unfold.
So grandma was, we had this idea of we just need to go as much, I want to know all of it. So we did about 6 episodes across a couple of weeks where were you born? What was your mom like? high school, her first job, she was real big into photography. She's a backup singer. She loved playing bass. And it was just learning all of those different things. And then my sister, she lives out of state. So it allows us the opportunity to talk to her. What is she doing? She bought a house. And it's just real interesting to be able to just reconnect with people that may not be around as often. But we also talk about my son. What is it like to be a teenager? What are some of the things that you're experiencing as a teenager? And we try to relate a little bit. What are some of the common things that we do, the shared experiences that we've had, 30 years apart. And then he would teach me some lingo, what is it like to be a teenager today? And I would tell him about what it was like to be a teenager in the 90s, early 2000s. So a lot of it is, let's explore the past, but let's also enjoy the moment. Like, what are some of the things that you struggle with? And then really break down some of those barriers, because kids maybe don't like to talk about their feelings or what's going on, but we kind of create this space where it's like, we've all done it. We've all been there. So, it allowed him, a safe space to be able to speak a little bit more candidly about some of the things that he's going through. And then with me personally, oh, good Lord, the personal journey that I've been on. I'm 42 now, and I hit 40, and I kind of go through this like quasi midlife crisis. And I'm like, I need to know more about these people. And then I find opportunities where I get to be candid about where I'm at, some of the things that I'm going through, and kind of just letting people know that we all struggle. Mental health is obviously a huge issue, and just really kind of just allowing people to know, get out there, talk about it, because we all will relate in some way with all of these different things that are happening in life.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that's so interesting. You mentioned, of course, your 15-year-old necessarily wanting to hang out with you as much, right? So how cool is that you guys can sit down and have a conversation about like what it's like to be a teenager, what it's like to be a 42-year-old. I think that's so neat. Is he pretty open about sharing with you what he's struggling with or going through, even in front of the mic?
Yeah, there's a couple areas that we kind of stay away from sometimes, but I respect that. But yeah, he's very open about a lot of the different things that he's going through, or the teenagery things. We watch a lot of different types of movies and video games, and sometimes maybe the content might be a little bit more mature or rated higher than where he's at, but he's very comfortable talking to me about some of these more adult conversations and topics. And we've had some amazing conversations, episode 27, where we talk about the seriousness of what it's like to be a teenager, bullying. We touch a little bit on drugs. Obviously, thank God he's not doing any, but like in school, are you being presented with these things? And then the what if game of, what do you do when you go to a party and these things happen? What do you do when your friends try to peer pressure you into these things? And this idea of reassuring them that those are the things that you should be doing, and then really just support them of like the idea of like, whatever happens, you call me, we'll get, or your mom, and we'll take care. You won't be in trouble because your friends put you in a bad spot. So it's kind of nice to be able to have those teenager adult conversations a little bit with them. And he's very open with a lot of them.
Hi, my name is Justin Clark, and I'm the president of the board of directors for Driving Single Parents, a 501c3 nonprofit serving the citizens of San Antonio and Bexar County, Texas. I'm here today to tell you a little bit about the great work that our organization is doing for the citizens of San Antonio. What you're about to see is just a few photos and videos of the way that we're changing lives for single parents in and around San Antonio, Texas. Our first giveaway took place in April of 2017, just one short month after the formation of our organization. John, a Bexar County resident, was the victim of a horrible drunk driver incident. He and his daughter survived the crash, and we were so proud to give our first car to this deserving family. Fast forward to 2020, a very difficult year for nonprofits. We were able to secure 4 vehicles for single parents in need. Our organization, including our board of directors, list of partners, and portfolio of people we've been able to help in San Antonio, continues to grow, and it's all thanks to donors and local community organizations that have helped us along the way. This giveaway took place in 2021 and shows that we continue to help single parents even after the struggles brought about by COVID-19. Because of limited funds and the overwhelming need, we at Driving Single Parents are incredibly selective with the people we help. Some are victims of domestic violence. Others had a spouse pass away tragically, or otherwise fell on hard times. These single parents show adversity in the face of challenge and aren't looking for a handout. We offer a hand up and help get them back in the driver's seat. Many of the single parents we help go on to graduate college, get promotions, get married, mentor others, and some have even been so touched by the gift we gave them that they have decided to join our board of directors to pay it forward and ensure the continued growth of our organization. If you would like to help our organization continue to grow and continue to help single parents in need in San Antonio, Texas, and Bexar County, Texas, we would really appreciate your support. Please visit us online at www.drivingsingleparents.org. Thank you.
That's awesome. And yeah, those are really important conversations to have. And us too, we have 6 kids and we're very open like that as well. It's like, hey, if something's going on, you can always come to us no matter what, no matter if it's, a situation you're in that, that we necessarily wouldn't approve, of. It doesn't matter. You call us. We're not going to give you the riot act. We're going to come and help you and we'll get you out of whatever situation you're in, and never be afraid to ask for help. And I think that's really important, because I know a lot of kids get mixed up in a situation where maybe they're at a party and somebody starts to overdose and nobody wants to call for help because they're afraid of what, they're going to get in trouble, the police, they're going to get, arrested, their parents are going to find out. And sometimes, unfortunately, people can die during those situations. So I love the fact that you're not only sharing that with your son, that if you get into a situation like this, you can always call for help, but also recording that and sharing it with the world, because it's a conversation that may not come up between a parent and their teenager. So I'm so glad that you're sharing that with the audience. That's so important.
Right. And then it's the reassurance that whatever he's thinking and feeling, I was a teenager. I did stupid things as a teenager. So it's this kind of this balance as a parent to be like, I know you're going to do stupid things, but make sure that you're like, it's educating him about consequences and the realities of certain things. So that way, when he is presented with a situation that I was also presented with, that he takes the appropriate steps and actions when they do come up. So, and it's great. We do another podcast, Whimsy with the Z. I get with 5 different teenagers every month, the same 5, ranging from 13 to 17. And once a week or once a month, I talk with each of them and get into their life. What is it like for you to go to school? And it's amazing. School's almost over. So this idea that I have these 5 different people that all have very similar experiences and insecurities, and then to slowly get them to open up about those things, it's just been fantastic. The most rewarding thing about that particular podcast is teenagers don't podcast. So this idea of like, hey, teenager, come on, let's do a podcast. they're really shy. But within about 3 months, like by their fourth show, way more relaxed. I'm noticing them sitting up more, a little bit more confident. And I get them thinking about their future. You're almost a senior. What are you going to do? Are you driving? Are you getting cars? And then working with them to kind of like help them, find ways to, mentor them a little bit, to be like, I'm not your parent, but I'm going to see what I can do and offer some advice.
Yeah, I love that. What's been one of the most surprising things you've learned in doing that? Like you said, there aren't any, young teenagers, not a lot of teenagers out there podcasting, especially with adults. So I think it's so cool. What a cool mix. Yeah. What's one of your favorite parts of that?
I think a lot of it is just, it's fun because a lot of them are like, I'm shy, or I don't know what to say and I don't know what to talk about. And it's these, this idea we found out very early on with my son, my nephew, and even my daughter. You put a microphone in front of a kid, and they just come alive. Like my daughter, she sees a microphone and she just wants to talk and have a good time. And it's just, and I record them so that I'll always have them. But I love the idea of these kids that are unsure of themselves and not sure on how to talk about their feelings, that I'm able to talk to them for the hour a month and help break down some of those barriers that says what you're feeling is normal, and watching them just kind of just grow as a person to be like, this isn't scary. I'm stronger than I thought I was. And again, the confidence just gets, just continues to build. And then like hearing those moments where we kind of have fun, but when they take it into the serious of like, what do you do when you're being bullied? What do you do when you go through a breakup? And then it's those little moments where they feel comfortable enough to start talking about some of those things out loud, and then to be able to take the podcast, to bring down the tone a little bit, and just have a real serious conversation about what they're thinking. And it's not so much about giving advice. I think a lot of it, from what I've found out from them, is just being there to listen is what a lot of them like. So I love being able to be that person that they feel like they can open up to. And I've seen that it is reflecting in their home life. Like they're talking to their parents a little bit more, or starting to breach some of these conversations with their parents.
Hi, my name is Andrew Fraley, and I believe that sometimes we all need a little bit of help. If you're in the San Antonio community and you need some legal help, call me at 210-725-4658.
That's wonderful. And it's so interesting that they just come alive like that. And they're willing to share those things. I can imagine that, like I said, our 14-year-old's like, no way, she doesn't want anything to do with it. And then, these young people that you have come on that are willing to talk about the serious topics and bullying and all the things. And what do you do when XYZ happens? And I think that's so important. And it's so awesome that not only are you getting that message out, but you're probably getting those messages out into the hands of parents who don't have teenagers who want to talk. Right. So those parents who don't, their teenager isn't one who wants to share, it could definitely help them learn to support their teenager. So I think that's really, really cool.
Yeah, it's been a blast. It's so much fun. And then with my daughter, the idea that I started this whole podcasting allows me to archive all of these memories. Like this idea, I have 400 hours of me on the internet right now, and it just blows my mind that one day my daughter is going to be a teenager at a sleepover and be like, look at my dad, 10 years ago, look at what my dad was doing. Look how silly he was. And that she can be able to see a different version of me that she might not remember 10 years from now.
Yeah, that is really, really neat. I think about that too with this show, and my daughter's coming back one day, or our son just coming back and looking at all of these recordings from all the people that I've interviewed over the years, and seeing so many wonderful people like yourself who come on to share their stories of what they're working on in this world. So I'm going to move on to my little give questions.
Yes.
Can you give the audience an example of a little thing that they can do in their community that might just be a little give on their end, but might make a big impact on the other side?
I've always enjoyed giving back, and the podcast, not as big as I'd like it to be, but it's getting there. But it allowed me a platform to try to give back and help build in the community. Huge shout out to my mom and my sister, because for years they adopt a family. They go through a Title I school for low-income families. So for years they adopt a family or two, and they buy these gifts for these families. And last year, what I went ahead and did with the podcast was wanting to give back. So the little things, I had spoken with the lady who was running the family assistance program at the school, is every little bit helps. I was fortunate enough to be able to do a larger type donation, but it was this idea of like, if everybody can just give $1 or $2, or just help out where they can, as a community, if we all just put in a little bit, I think they said they helped 62 families, 105 kids got presents for Christmas last year, because all of us as a community did our part, put in just a little bit, so that way we can just help out the community and these kids and these families. Like the idea that we're able to help kids celebrate Christmas, and then to help the parents that might be struggling a little bit, and to let the parents know you're part of a community, we care, we want to help. And then those kids, to let them know that whatever is happening in life, you can still have a good Christmas, and that the community will take care of each other. So one of the things we did with the holiday episode, when I was talking to Anat with the school, is it's not about how much, it's about doing something. It's acknowledging that there's a problem and that you can help. And that if enough people, it's not even enough people, if you just donate just a little bit, it will make a huge impact on the back end.
Definitely. And a little bit goes a long way. And I know that's a big thing for people, is they don't really realize how much that small donation or that small little volunteer hour or just those little things really can add up to a big deal. I can't tell you how many people have told me, I have a nonprofit called Driving Single Parents, and we give away cars to single parents in need. And I can't tell you how many people said, well, Cindy, I love what you're doing, but I don't have $10,000, $20,000 to give away a car. And it's like, you don't need to do all that. I mean, if you just donated $1 or $5 or $100, whatever you have, that multiplied by the many people who do the same thing can really add up to an amount of money that can buy a vehicle to really bless a family and change the trajectory of their life and situation. So
For sure.
I love that you share that. Can you give the audience an example of a time in your life where somebody did something little for you that might have just been a little give on their end, but really made an impact on you and in your life?
It would have been years ago now. I was at work and got real comfortable with my boss, and I started to see her more as like a mentor. And the idea that she saw a potential in me, this drive to want to be creative, do things a little bit different, but also wanting to excel. The idea that she gave me these little opportunities to start to shine, to get me outside my comfort zone. And from there, like, I just exploded. I've just been doing some crazy things for engagement. It's this, and I love the idea. I've taken that and I try to be a mentor to others, where I want to encourage anybody. Like, I'll even call them out before they know what they want to do. But the idea of encouraging them early, that says you can do whatever you want. whatever you need, I'm there for you. They might not be fully ready or understand where their journey is going, but it's those little conversations where it's like, you really can do anything. I'm here for support. And then when an opportunity comes around and I can help nudge them in the right direction, to allow to present them with those opportunities to really step up and shine. So I love the idea of having a mentor and now being a mentor to kind of just give back to them, to be like, we all have great, awesome things inside us. Sometimes we just need that little push for us to start to realize that there is a bigger potential inside us, and then to really start striving for those things.
Great examples. Thank you for sharing all of that. What about nonprofits? Are there any nonprofits that you like?
There's one, Children's Care Arizona. They focus a lot on the lower income families. And I like it because it goes back to the school that I work with is, and then that's the beauty of it, is you can go through the website or you can go talk to the schools individually. And it's this idea of like, let's just help low income families, give them opportunities to, again, like shine, like the stresses of those things with the parents or the kids. Let's do our part to kind of help them out. So that way they're a lot of the opportunities that the rest of us are. So I love the idea of helping anything in the low income families area.
I love that. What a beautiful nonprofit. I grew up super, super poor without hardly anything. And I really appreciated those little things like that, that really helped, like the lunch programs at school. Or we did have one time when somebody sponsored us to get a couple of little gifts for Christmas. And we did have a teacher who would say, hey, this little girl really needs clothes. And they would like take us to like a little used clothing store and like let us pick out a couple of things or donate things to us. So those things really do make a difference in how that child perceives other people and kindness. And then when they grow up, then they have that thought in their head that like, hey, I want to help that child I once was. Right. So what a beautiful nonprofit. I'm so grateful that you shared that today.
Yeah, I love the, I similar to you, I'm like, we weren't rich, but mom did everything she could to make sure that we had everything. And this idea that these kids, are given those things. I love the idea that they grew up and be like, I want to help other kids similar to where I was years ago. And just watch them and again, similar to the podcasting thing, like you give a kid a chance, they will never disappoint you. They're the most like resilient and just the most amazing like potential. And we got to do our part to kind of help these kids, find that potential and put them in positions to be confident, to think good of themselves and their community, and maintain a positive attitude. So that way they can start to develop those potentials, and, who knows what they end up growing up to do and what they do to give back.
I love that. I like how you said, it's our job to help them find their potential. And I think that's so important because it's true. We got to support them and wrap our arms around them and help them through whatever it is they're growing through, because, there's going to be a lot of ups and downs, and the kindness of other people who fill those gaps that maybe a single mom or single dad or a struggling family can't fulfill. There's so many kind, wonderful people out there, like yourself and like these nonprofits that really take the time to extend that helping hand. So thank you for sharing all that. If the audience were to want to get to know more about you, your podcast, all the things that you do, why don't you give them all the details on how they can find out more?
Definitely. The website, chasingthewhimsy.com. From there, I kind of tweaked it, made it look a little bit some nice. If you scroll down just a little bit, you'll see the different podcasts that we do. I have this idea of giving back and asking people for their potential. Whimsy Doodles, Little Whims. I met two people. One of them was a friend. They love to draw. I gave them an opportunity to take a story that I have with my daughter and my son, and they draw little gnome comics for me now. And I love the idea that they needed someone just to ask and reach out, and then we just make these real adorable, real simple these stories. And I love that they're able to do that for me. And again, it's kind of just building this community. Is now I have 2 artists. Like I started a podcast, I do some live streams, I create some extra ones, but then we have merch. We have an artist now, and then it's just crazy what you can like. It's amazing, like the potential that podcasting has shown me that I have. I haven't stopped. I just create, and find others that like to create with me, and we just kind of just have a good time with it. And then you can also email me at whimsy@chasingthewhimsy.com for any questions. Love talking to people. I would love for anybody to come on and be a guest with me, a kid or a parent, or if they want me on their show. I would love to be able to help just connect with other people. Would just be amazing.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. For everybody out there who's listening today, he gave you all the ways that you can find out more and learn more about his podcast, maybe be a guest, get involved however you can. If you are passionate about that nonprofit, please go to that website, find out more. And if it's something you're passionate about, go make a donation. $1 or $5 multiplied by the number of individuals we have watching this show right now would make a huge difference to helping these kids. So thank you all so much for watching, and thank you for being a guest, and we'll see you all next week. If you enjoyed this episode of Little Give, head on over to our website at littlegive.com. You'll be able to find all the information about previous episodes and past guests that we've had on. If you or someone you know would like to be a guest on Little Give, all the information is also on the website. And if you have a nonprofit that you love and would like to recommend be on the show, all of that information is also on the website. We really appreciate you watching today, and we can't wait to see you again next week.